Hey guys, it's Way here, and today I'm showing you guys how to complete the EREDIVISIE League Squad Builder Challenge the cheapest and easiest way. As of right now, it's going to set you back around 200,000 coins on Xbox One and around 170k on PlayStation. Now, for both these prices, go up and down depending on the packs currently available in the store. If any silver special packs are available, it normally drops down considerably, and you can see it go for as little as 150k on both consoles. But if there aren't any of those packs, sometimes this SBC rises to as much as 250k, and that is because a lot of the cards needed for the SBC is silvers. So if you want to complete this as cheaply as possible, wait until any silver special packs are available in the store, and also try and bid and snipe cards to get them as cheaply as possible. That way you'll be able to probably complete this for about 120k. If you do go ahead and snipe those cards, you can get them really cheaply. If not, you're looking at around 150 to 200k to complete the SBC. Now, in return for doing so, you're going to get yourself an 84 rated SBC UNS card. He's got 88 pace, 92 dribbling, and also 84 passing with good shooting and physical, and also does have 4-star skill moves. And in addition to that, you get yourself 22,500 coins and 18 free packs. These vary from 25k packs all the way down to silver packs, and you've got 2 rare gold player packs, 15k packs, 7.5k packs, and 5k packs all in between, so you do get a really good amount of reward back in return. So even if you're spending about 200k on this, you're normally going to be getting yourself at least 100k back from the packs and also the overall coins. And you never know, you could pay yourself an icon or a really good player who's going to make you actual profit from this SBC. So we have 18 different individual SBCs to complete. I'm going to go through every single one of them, and I'm going to show you guys the players I've used. I'll also show you any players I've used out of position to make the teams even cheaper. One thing to bear in mind, I haven't used loyalty for any of these teams, so that's just always something to bear in mind, as a lot of people don't know how I've got the right chemistry in some teams, for example, and wonder if you need loyalty or not. If you have seen any of the teams I've used, you try and copy them, you don't get full chemistry. It's not because of loyalty, it's just because you'll have to use some position changes, as I have changed the position of some of these cards just to make them be able to fit into the team and make the SBC a little bit cheaper. So we're going to start off with ADO Den Haag. All of these SBCs require a full team of 11 players from the specific team, and they also need a specific rating and chemistry requirements. So for this SBC, you guys can see I've used a right back in the left back position, as the left backs are quite expensive, and also I've used a random bronze striker as a right winger, and that's just to make it a little bit cheaper, as the right wingers from this team are also quite expensive. But apart from that, you can just go with silver cards. I'll go through all the players I've used. We've got Koremans, David, Kuipers, Belogic, Asmelash, Al-Kaiti, Baker, Falkenberg, Ladan, Johnson, and finally Ricardo Kishner. So we're going to submit that. It gets me a training item and also a 5k pack. So you get a wide variety of different rewards for completing this SBC. So we get the squad fitness. I'm going to quickly send that over to the club. We then have Ajax. This one here is around about 10,000 coins to complete, and actually gives you a 25k pack. And what I've done here to make it a little bit cheaper is very, very simple. I've actually just used a goalkeeper as a right winger, as there are only silver right wingers from this team. For that reason, they are quite expensive. Apart from that, everyone is in pretty much their default position. So going over the players I've used, we've got Van Leer, Veltman, Vergiver, Delete, Singraven, De Jong, Nuri, Schoen, Onana, Cassiera, and finally Younes. So that's going to complete that. We get a 25k pack, which is a really good reward. You never know, we could get a drop down or something in there, which would be always good. Next up, we have got AZ. Now for this team right here, again, you need 11 players, and you also have the same rating and chemistry requirement as with all the other SBCs. Now, to complete this cheaply, I would recommend simply using a right winger, or basically just any random player in the right back position. Right backs are quite expensive from this team, so if you can just put a random player in there, you should be good. Apart from that though, everyone can go in their default position, as there's a lot of midfielders, for example, there's a lot of defenders, so they're not going to be too expensive. So checking the prices, we've got Olij, we've got Stengs, Hasdi Gakos, sorry if I mispronounced a lot of the names in these teams, they've got some pretty random names, Ron Vlaar, Wijndaal, Thiel, Helmer, Van Overmeen, Yakan Bakish, Friday, and then Garcia. So that finished off that team. We get an Electrum players pack that is a mixture of silvers and golds. Next up, we've got Excelsior, and for this you get a 2 rare gold player pack in return. The only thing I've used to make this a little bit cheaper is a goalkeeper in the attacking midfield position, and that's just because the midfielders from this team are quite expensive. If you want to use loyalty chemistry, you can actually use a right mid or just any random player in the CDM position, as the midfielders, as I said, can be quite expensive. But if you don't want to do loyalty, if you don't want to have to use the loyalty glitch, which can take some time, just use a midfielder in there instead. But going over the players, we've got Suartoid, Payne, O'Neill, Matage, Massop, Bruins, Fortes, Havakote, Haspolat, Mesaoud, and then finally Van Dwenen. So we also get 500 coins in addition to that rare gold player pack. Going to submit that right there. Next up, we have got Feyenoord. So for this one here, it's a full gold team, pretty cheap. You get a 15k pack. In return, I have used a goalkeeper in the right back position just because they don't have any gold right backs, so they are quite expensive. Apart from that though, everyone is in the right position. We've got Vermeer, Jones, Van den Hegden, Bottegin, Haps, Velhena, Alamadi, Toornstra, Berghuis, Jorgensen, and Boetius. That completes that and gives us a 15k pack, so not too bad there for quite a cheap SBC. Next up, we've got Groningen. I believe this is the most expensive team out of the entire SBC, and what I've done is I've used a right mid in the centre mid position, and then I've used a goalkeeper as a striker. Strikers from this team are like 5 to 6k, so that's why I've definitely would recommend using a goalkeeper or just a random player. The cheapest you can get in that goalkeeper position. Centre mids are also expensive, so just use a cheap right or left mid in the midfield position. So running over the players I've used, we've got Pad, Kane, Larsson, Memesevic, Van Neef, Drost, Huisic, Bakuna, Doan, Van Wheat, and Begwa. So that completes that, gives us a jumbo gold pack. I believe that is a 10k pack. Next up, we have got Herenveen. Now to complete this, you can see the players I've used. I've used a goalkeeper in the centre-back position, as centre-backs can be quite expensive, and then I've used a right winger in the left wing position just because there's only one left winger and there's 2 right wingers, so they're a little bit cheaper. So I've just used 2 right wingers, 1 in right wing, 1 in left wing, and that's going to complete this pretty cheaply. So running over the players, we've got Van der Steen, Schmidt, Bekema, Hoeg, Perry, Kobashi, Shars, Vlap, Martin Odegaard, Veerman, and Rojas completing the team right there. And again, we get an Electrum players pack, so that's a mixture of silvers and golds. Next up is Heracles, a full silver team for this. You want to use a CDM in the centre-back position just to make it a little bit cheaper, as centre-backs are quite expensive. And then use a random player in that centre-mid position just because centre-mids from the team are quite expensive, so I just use a random striker in there. So running over the players, we've got Castro, Droste, Pelopse, Wheatens, Hardveld, Gladon, Monteiro, Van Oijien, Kuas, Vermage, and Dari. So that's going to finish that one off. We're going to submit that. You get a Hunter Chemistyle for this. So you actually get a wide variety of different rewards in return. Hunter Chemistyle, I don't think you can sell these, can you? Actually you can, so not bad. You can sell these, or you can obviously use it on one of your players, but I think they go for about 4 or 5k either way. Next up, we have got NAC Breda, and for this team right here, you get a jumbo premium silver pack. You want to use a random player in that centre-back position, as centre-backs are quite expensive from this team. And then for the CDMs, you don't have to use CDMs, you can use centre mids or attacking midfielders like I've done here, and you're still going to get the full chemistry you do need. So we've got Bertrams, Horsfield, Majors, Court, Vliet, Romans, Stand, Fernandez, Garcia, Vloet, and Sprangers finishing off the team. I think that right back Horsfield is actually on loan from Manchester City as well. But there we go, we've finished that one off. Next up, we've got PC Zwolle. Now to complete this, you guys can see this is the team I've used. I converted a centre mid down to CDM and used him at centre back. I've got a goalkeeper in at the left mid position, and then I converted an attack midfielder up to centre forward and used him as a striker, and that gets me full chemistry. So a few position changes, but it's going to make it a lot cheaper as centre backs from this team are pretty expensive. So the players we've used, we've got Van den Hart, we then have Van Pollen, Van Wingen, Marcelis, Coppers, Namely, Decker, Thomas, Hopt, Major, I think that's how you pronounce that name, Simac, and then Marinus finishing off the team. So for this one here, we get another 2 rare gold player pack and also 500 coins. Next up, we've got PSV, one of the biggest teams here. So again, you get a decent order. It's a 15k pack. Left backs from this team are really expensive, so this SBC is one of the more expensive simply because of that reason. I would also recommend using a goalkeeper in the right wing position. Right wingers are pretty expensive from the team. I believe there is only one, and it's actually the inform version of Lozano, so obviously you don't want to use an inform, just use that. And then use a CDM in the centre back position, as the centre backs from this team are pretty expensive. So we've got Zoet in goal, then Arias, Hendricks, Isen Martin, and then Brenne. This guy's about, as you guys can see, just over 8k. There's 2 left backs, they're both about 8 or 9k, so you have to spend a lot of coins unless you're able to snipe one of them. We then have Lundqvist, Pereiro, Goodmanson, Koopmans, Locadia, and Lozano finishing off the team. Get a 15k pack, not too bad there in return. Next up, we've got Sparta. Now, for this team right here, you can see the players I've used. A left back in the centre back position, that's going to make it a little bit cheaper. And then I've used a random player, an attacking midfielder in this case here, as my striker, as the strikers are pretty expensive. So going over the players, we've got Nenwies, Sakela, Luidens, Marfelt, Urstelen, Bambok, Venhoven, Dougal, Alfat, Van Murasel, Brogno, and there we go. Those are all the players I've used. Obviously, if you want to copy the exact same team as me, you can just go through a little bit slower. You can just go through on the market if you want to look for the players in different positions. But if I went through every player in a lot of detail and kind of kept it on each player to show you guys the names for too long, this video would be like half an hour long. But next up, we get a gold pack for FC Twente. I've used a left back in the centre back position. It's going to make it a little bit cheaper. I've used a left mid in the right mid position, and then I've converted down in a centre mid down here to use him as a CDM, and then I'm using an attack midfielder in a CDM as well. So we've got Hengelmann, we've then got Ter Avest, Bijen, Cuevas, Tragowski, Jensen, Lockhart, Georgiev, Asaidi, Jensen, and then we've got Kavsina. There we go. So that finishes that off. We get a 5k pack in return for completing that SBC. Nearly there now. We've got Utrecht as the next team, and as you guys can see, I've used a striker in at right back, and then that's it really. I've just used a whole midfield of centre mids with an attacking midfielder here. Their CDMs are quite expensive, so I'd recommend doing the same as me. So running over the players, we've got Jensen in goal, we've then got Sau, Lewin, Hedgenberg, Bradfield, Ayub, David, Willock, Labiad, Vanema, and then Desez finishing off the team right there. We get a jumbo goal pack. That's another 10k pack in return for completing that. Next up is Vitesse Arnhem. Now you guys can see these are the players I've used, and I believe everyone is in the right position apart from a goalkeeper in the left wing position, just because, as I said, with all these other teams, whenever I've used someone like this, it's just because the players in those positions are really rare and really expensive. The left wing is like 4 or 5k, so I've just used the goalkeeper there, and then I converted a attacking midfielder up to centre forward, so I think that's only like 200 or 300 coins to convert them, as strikers are pretty expensive from this team. So we've used Tornes, Lieveld, Maizaga, Kashir, Fai, Kalor, Ali, Kolket, Rashgishka, For, and Huen finishing off the team. I'm probably butchering the pronunciation of literally every player in all of these teams. Next up, we've got VVV Venlo. And you guys can see this is the team I've used. A random left winger there in the left back position, a left mid in at centre mid. I believe he was originally a left winger and actually converted him down to left mid just so we got that chemistry in the midfield. You get a training item and 1,000 coins for completing this. It's very cheap, won a lot of bronzes. We've got Custers, Rutan, Gielen, Promes, Bezat, Rikas, Opoku, Antonis, Van Kruij, Respen, Tishuladi, and then Custers, as you guys see, we've already used him. So we get a position change card, I believe, for completing this. Bit of a random reward. It is a centre forward to camp card. Bit random, but we obviously need to complete it to get the over reward. Next up, we've got Willem 2. Now to complete this, I've used a left mid in the left wing back position. I've used a goalkeeper in the striker position, and then I've converted some of these players. I think some of them were CDMs, some of them were attacking midfielders. Converted them all into the right positions so I get the full chemistry overall, and I get a jumbo silver premium player pack there in return. So you guys can see the players. We've got Brandon Horst in goal. We've then got Herkins, Van den Boget, Ryan Lachman, El Hagnokuri, Liefdink, Urbananski, Rienstra, Vanderlei, and Sol finishing off the team. And I believe we only have 2 more teams to go now, possibly 4. There we go. Actually, have we done it? Have we done it? Is that all the teams? We actually have 1 more to go. We have Roger Jase. We missed out those out. I was wondering why I hadn't finished it. Here we go then. So for this team here, I've used a left mid in the left back position. I've then used a striker in at centre back, just a random player there, and that is it for this team. So I actually sniped some of these players as they were pretty expensive, but I was able to complete it a lot cheaper just by sniping them. For any of the more expensive teams, try and snipe the cards and you'll find it works out a lot cheaper. So in goal, I've gone with Kurto. We then have Ruches in at right back, Shkayan, Verka, Van Velzen, El Macrini, Suren, Rochevel, Polisson, Endenje, and Van Camp finishing off the team. And I believe upon completing this and getting the 2 red gold player pack, we're going to complete the entire SBC. There we go. EREDIVISIE Score Challenge has been completed, the first League SBS I've done so far this year. We also get UNES and 22,500 coins and we've now got 18 free packs. We're going to be opening all of those up in a video, which I'm going to release just after this video. They're both coming out today, so if you want to see all of these packs as well as a load of other ones, I'll be doing a big free pack opening. Just go and check it out. I'll try and leave a annotation on the end card or on the end screen of this video for you guys to check out once you finished it. But taking a look at UNS, 4-star skills, 4-star weak foot, really good stats right there. Taking a look at some of those in-game stats: 94 acceleration, 82 sprint speed, 93 attack positioning. He's got decent finishing, long shots, volleys and penalties, 92 vision, 91 short passing, 91 curve, and then 93 agility, 99 balance, 83 reactions, 90 ball control, 95 dribbling, and 96 stamina. Really good card. Can't wait to try them out. Hope you guys have enjoyed. If you do want me to do any more videos on any more of the League SBCs, let me know in the comments down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new around here, and I'll catch you guys in my next video. Take care.